Yo, what's up, Pat?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, working on some homework.
Yeah, man. Hey, what's that thing we talked about in class? The Harlem Renaissance.
Oh yeah, the Harlem Renaissance started
Yeah.
after the Civil War in 1919, after the Red Summer. The Red Summer was a continuous riots against the African Americans. The Harlem Renaissance tried to get equality of African Americans and the whites together. The Harlem Renaissance was also known, I don't know if you know this, the New Negro movement.
Oh.
But it is now known what we know today, of course, Harlem Renaissance.
Right.
But that movement gave African Americans the chance to demonstrate their culture through things like art, fashion, music, and different other forms of theater.
That's pretty awesome. Was there any novels and essays written during this time?
Yes, there were both.
What?
The Blacker the
Crazy.
Berry by Wallace Thurman was one of the novels. It's followed by this girl, Emma Morgan, from Idaho, who was born with darker skin than anyone else around. So even though she was black and other people were black, she was darker, and she was looked down upon because of that, even by her own mom.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it was terrible for her.
Yeah.
Some other books, like Claude McKay's Home to Harlem, very famous book, I don't know if you know that, published in 1928, talked about issues with gambling, fight, and debt, and alcohol. Mainly focus on these two African Americans who deal with that. And it was such a rough portrayal that other African Americans didn't really like it, but he really wanted to get the voice out of what it was like being there.
Yeah, I can see that.
One more novel I think you should know about is The Passing by Nell Larson, which followed these two light-skinned childhood friends. Took two different paths in life, though. One did the passing choice, where she married a white guy, and was rich and stuff, and then she went into the white world, while the other one stayed in the African American world, where she was lower class and stuff, even though she could have done the same thing, but she wanted to be with her own roots.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I know. And some of the essays back there were by one of the most famous people, Claude McKay, If We Must Die, which basically says if we're gonna die, why not go die on swinging? Why would we go through all this without giving up a fight? What do you want to be remembered as? Someone who just rolled over or something? That's not what he wanted. And another one by Langston Hughes, The Negro Speaks of Rivers. If you ever heard it, he talked about a lot of rivers and the accomplishments near them. You know how the Egypt has the Nile River? He talked about that, and it ended on Abraham Lincoln going down the Mississippi River, and how that demonstrates the freedom that he gave.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't there also an essay by Lane Locke called The Forward?
Yeah, now you're getting a hang of it.
Oh, cool.
But there's some entertainers back there, weren't there?
That's totally right.
Ah,
There
yeah.
were some pretty big entertainers. One of them was Louis Armstrong. Now, Louis Armstrong was this awesome guy, and he was just super foundational and had this giant influence in jazz. And it shifted the whole focus of the music collective and improvisation to just a solo performance. With his instant and recognizable gravely voice, Armstrong became the super influential singer, demonstrating great dexterity for songs. And he was renowned for his charismatic stage presence and voice, almost as much as for his trumpet playing. What about the other guys?
Oh, James Weldon Johnson. He was an author, educator, lawyer, diplomat, civil rights activist, all that. As well as a strong writer, has actually composed the lyrics of Lift Every Voice and Sing. Originally written for a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday at Stanton School, this new song, widely popular, later became known as the Negro National Anthem, a title that has NAACP adopted and promoted. Lift Every Voice and Sing had a lasting impact in other artistic movements as well, inspiring works such as Golden and McGee's Quilted Mosaics.
I think you meant Gwendolyn's Quilted Mosaics.
That's right, I always get them confused.
Yeah, but those are some pretty cool ones. Did you know, Pat? There was also this really cool dancer. Her name was Josephine Baker.
Oh, yeah.
When she was 13, she decided that she was going to drop out of school and just start living in the streets in the slums of St. Louis. She was sleeping in cardboard boxes, and she was hopping around from shelter to shelter. She was looking for food in garbage cans. But she loved to dance. So she would dance on the street corners, and before she could even realize it, she was just gathering all this attention and all these people from everywhere watching her dance on the street corners. When she was 15, she got recruited for the St. Louis chorus called the Vaudeville Show. Then she decided to head to New York City during the Harlem Renaissance, where she started performing at the Plantation Club, and in the chorus of the groundbreakingly and hugely successful Broadway revues Shuffle Along. And then she also performed as the last dancer in a chorus line, a position that's, normally for a dancer to act in like a comical manner, as if they weren't really or couldn't really remember the dance. And then she went on to perform, and not only did it right, but added even some more stuff that wasn't even planned. She then ended up being billed as the highest paid chorus girl in the show.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was crazy.
Oh yeah? Have you ever heard of Chick Webber? Oh,
I think I have.
fantastic drummer.
What?
From the Harlem Renaissance. In 1931, his band became the house band at the Savoy Ballroom. He became one of the best regarded band leaders and drummers of the new swing style. Drummer Buddy Rich cited Webb's powerful technique and visceral performances as heavy, influential, and his own drumming. Even referred to Webb as the daddy of them all.
I wish I was referred to as the daddy of them all.
Maybe one day. Webb was unable to read music and instead memorized the arrangements played by the band and conducted from a platform in the center.
What?
Webb was what was deemed the most worthy recipient to be crowned the first King of Swing.
Dang, that's incredible. Although, did you know that he then lost to none other but Louis Armstrong?
I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. How was the artist back then? You know about any of them?
Oh, there were some pretty sweet artists back then.
Really?
We're talking about photographers, artists that painted all these different African American styled pictures and everything. The first one, though, Carl Van Vechten. This man was actually a Caucasian photographer who went around and captured all the big events that were happening during the Harlem Renaissance.
Crazy.
And he is the sole reason that it was possible for all of the African Americans across the country that weren't specifically involved in the new Negro movement, that they could see what was going on because he wasn't afraid to go out there and be on the front lines with them. So that guy was pretty cool for that.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and then there was this man called Aaron Douglas, and he developed this whole style that was pretty much derived from the African art. He developed it in the 20s, and then it synthesized aspects of modern European, ancient Egyptian, and West African art.
Wow.
He's best known for his paintings that are semi-abstract and feature flat forms, with their hard edges and repetitive geometric shapes. It was really cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. And then we also had none other but Duke Ellington. He became really important to jazz because he brought an entire new level of sophistication and organization. Like, he used all these different combination of instruments and scales that nobody was doing, and it was just incredibly mind-blowing. He was super cutting edge and right there with it.
Yeah.
His songs Black and Tan Fantasy and Mood Indigo,
I think I might have heard of that.
yeah, they sound kind of old-fashioned and jazzy, but they're also super eerie and bizarre, but beautiful at the same time.
Of course.
It's so awesome. And then Ellington also created some big jazz compositions, but I'm talking like big, complex musical pieces, and people still are amazed at how he did that today. So that's pretty cool.
You know what? I love the Harlem Renaissance.
Me too, man. The Harlem Renaissance was just so cool. But hey, man, I gotta run because it's almost my bedtime.
Oh, damn,
All right.
man. Thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah,
It was a great
for
chat.
sure. I'll see you in class on Tuesday.
All right, man.
See
ya,
you,
man.
dog.